Hi VOD watchers, welcome to this video. We're going to be reacting to Suing Minecraft because they broke the law and pissed me off. Because I have thoughts about this video that I don't think I've shared. And I'm going to also... Because when I watched this, I had like... It was one of those videos that really like... invoked a lot of thoughts straight when I watched the video. So I wanted to
This is Minecraft, a blog game created in 2011 by Mojang, which I'm suing for breaking the law and pissing me off. But to understand why I'm doing this, we need to go back to December of 2022. You see, Minecraft is a game where anyone can add anything, even if it wasn't part of the original game. And what I wanted to do was recreate an old game I used to play in 2013 called MC War that unfortunately shut down. And after months of development and growing the community that was eager to play the game on launch, we finally set the release date to the 2nd of June of 2023. And this is where everything went wrong. Because only one day after posting the release date, a tweet was posted stating that Mojang Enforcement, basically the guys that enforce the terms of service, threatened to take down a server called a GTM because a new directive from Mojang leadership had determined that guns and weapons are considered non-compliant features under the adult content requirement for
I thought this was always in the EULA, but apparently it isn't. I don't think they necessarily changed it. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they necessarily changed it. I think they more clarified what it meant. Because the rules always were very blanket statement. I don't know. I mean, if a video game has guns in it, it becomes an 18. If it's like actual guns, right? I don't know. Would you guys count guns as adult content? Because it was always vague, and it's legalese, you know? It's meant to be vague, so, you know, they can act on it how they want. I would see adult content as like, if I was to Google, are guns adult content? Are guns adult content? You know, like, okay, well, it's not really, you know. But I would say, I don't know. If you think of Minecraft as a children's game, I wouldn't say guns is like content for children. I know Fortnite, but Fortnite is, it like, hold on, if we go back to like what he wanted to recreate,
development and growing,
it's very much like realistic actual guns.
The community that was eager to MC War that unfortunately,
you know, like it's realistically modeled real guns. Do you get what I mean? Like Fortnite is distinctly different. It's like, I don't know. I think like you look at, oh, you can't see it. Hold on, let me screenshot it. Like, it's very distinctly an AR-15. And I think, I don't know, maybe Fortnite has a bit of a difference. I don't know. I think it's fair for Minecraft to assume that that's adult content. However, I do agree with the guy. It kind of sucks that he's been working on it for a long fucking time, sunk money into it, and suddenly it's not allowed. But,
Enforcement, basically the guys that enforce the terms of service, threatened to take down a server called a GTM because a new directive from Mojang leadership had determined that guns and weapons are considered non-compliant features under the adult content requirement for commercial usage servers. And that
you know, I think, hold on, what was the exact wording again? Recent directive in my determined that guns and weapons are now considered non-compliant features under the adult. Okay, yeah. I mean, oh, non-corporate translation. Oh, we reinterpreted our rules and decided that guns and weapons are not okay. Remove them or face consequences. I think they have the right to do it, but I can also see why it fucking sucks. But like, if you are adding something into Minecraft and the guidelines say specifically that you know, that no adult content, you are kind of running the risk that, yeah, it's not clarified. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, and this is just my guess of legal advice, right? Adult content is very, like, it's very broad on purpose, right? And it's like, I feel like, you know, if you are adding guns to a game and it says you're not allowed adult content in this game, but it doesn't specifically say guns, you are running the risk of you know, it being taken down because of guns, you know? Do you get what I'm saying, chat? Granted, I think there's probably a way that you could just remodel this server where you remodel it not to be guns and it's laser guns, you know, and that's then not adult content. Like, there are ways that you would be able to get around this, and there's probably a lot of servers that get around with it. But I think if you're modeling with real guns and making a server with real guns, I know why you wouldn't want to change it to non-real guns, but you are running that risk, I think, and you should kind of expect that. The Minecraft corporate guidelines are very strict, and doing anything, you are running the risk, you know? He brings a great point. Hypixel has... I don't actually know what that, you know, minigame is, but I'm sure we'll get into it.
Adult content requirement for commercial usage servers, and that they now have to be completely removed because they're against the brand guidelines, usage guidelines, and end-user license agreement. So basically, after months of development and thousands of dollars spent on marketing, yes, this thing costs $1,000, everything was completely wasted.
Okay, well, I do think... I would like to say... For your 1,000 follower, you know, Minecraft server Twitter, buying Twitter for business is a fucking silly decision, right? It's like we spent $1,000 just to like have this check mark. That's fucking silly, dude. That's nothing to do with Minecraft. That specifically is silly money management, you know. But I guess maybe if you wanted to see it, make it seem more professional. That's not on Minecraft. That's, you know, that's purely on you. You know? That one's purely on you. And I don't think buying that checkmark had that drastic of a marketing impact. I do think you would still be able to remodel the guns, and I think people would have to just understand it wouldn't be what they want, but I don't know. There's probably some way to have like a sneaky like resource pack or something. Yeah, I mean, I see what he means is that he spent this money on marketing for then Minecraft to, like, essentially render it useless. But, like, you know. I don't know.
Of dollars spent on marketing, yes, this thing costs $1,000. Everything was completely wasted because it's now prohibited.
I wouldn't say everything's wasted. You've still built the brand reputation. You have people excited for the server. I don't know. I feel like... Maybe I'm just thinking if I was in this situation, I would just remodel the guns. But maybe this guy has the impression of like, you know, you want what this originally used to be, that this thing that shut down. People are going to be pissed if you take away the real gun models. But I don't know. There's probably some workarounds, I imagine, but I'm not a lawyer. Once again, that's just what I would think. I wouldn't think... Well, I'd probably still think fuck Mojang, but like it would be annoying. I would just also just accept.
As you can imagine, all servers that contained guns basically entered panic mode because we were all about to be annihilated by Mojang.
Yeah,
a group with all of these owners was created to discuss and potentially negotiate, asking very valid questions such as, how come servers that have had firearms for well over a decade so far have never had any issues but are suddenly prohibited? Why?
That's very fair, actually. That's very fair. But isn't like the way that Hypixel would get around it is just, but they still provide it. Because that's a resource pack, right? This is a resource pack that when you load into the game, it gives you the option to, like, add it. I guess they could get away with that. Yeah, I don't know.
Have had firearms
that's fair,
for
though.
Well over a decade so far have...
Yeah, that's very fair, I guess.
Never had any issues, but are suddenly prohibited. Why is it okay for Mojang's own marketplace?
But I think it's just... I mean, yeah, if they're reinterpreting the rules, how allowed is it for them to, you know...
But they get a cut of every sale to have guns when we don't get...
But that's not guns. It's blasters, you know? They're laser blasters. I think these are... That's what, like what I said earlier. I feel like these are very distinctly different and a lot more brand-friendly than guns. Do you guys agree? I guess technically they're guns, but none of them are guns. They're blasters. Am I coping? I don't want to sound like a, just corporate shill. So many people think that when you, you know, stand on the side of Mojang, I feel like, is like, oh, you just love big corporations. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's, you know, a bit copium. I don't know, though.
Get to have them. And what exactly do they mean by guns and weapons and suitable for children? Because it's totally not like there are thousands of games that literally have guns and weapons in them that are made for children. And
once again, that's very fair, but I guess it's up to interpretation of what you think is made for children. I doubt there's well, there probably is a specific what are made for children. I guess Fortnite has a 7 rating. But
It's totally not like Minecraft itself has explosive crossbows, which are a firearm in most jurisdictions.
Okay, see now, that's just omega copium. But why can't I have guns? Because you have explosive crossbows. Yep, you have explosive crossbows. Like, that's just really copium. And to be like, well, hey, that's counted as a firearm in Hong Kong, Japan, Norway, Poland, Sweden, etc. I guess Sweden would be, if he'd mentioned just Sweden, said, hey, that's considered a firearm in Sweden, I guess that. But come on, man, it's cope.
By the way, gunpowder, bombs, swords, poison, incineration, slavery, you get the idea. To which Mojang, after conveniently ignoring half these points, replied that this recent directive from Mojang leadership wasn't for guns and weapons, but was purely for guns.
That was a mistake on Minecraft's behalf. They said weapons. I think that was just an oversight, that they forget that swords are weapons, but that's not an oversight they should have had. But I think it's fair for them to come to this judgment. I don't know.
Isn't that change convenient? But hey, what would I know? It's not like Mojang hides information from the public for illicit reasons, right? This is called foreshadowing. So since Mojang didn't exactly explain what qualified as a real-life weapon, we went ahead and asked, is this a weapon? What about this? Which they, again...
That's fair to ask, I guess.
Completely ignored. And after demanding more answers, they eventually said on June 13th that the key...
I mean, to be fair, it sucks because they're a big corporate company. Realistically, their lawyers are going to say, don't fucking answer this. And they're not going to fucking answer this. It's the same way that you can say like a pixelated gun design and be like, that's not a gun, that's this thing that I made, and it's not meant to replicate a gun. You just think that. It's the same way that where they're not going to answer that just before their lawyers, Thank you, Artificial Pengu, for the follow.
Decision makers are on holidays. So I guess we'll just have to wait until these key decision makers stop being on vacation. But hey, it's not like it's gonna take months.
That was crazy. That was a kind of crazy one that they completely on his side here. For them to like not respond for 6 months because the key decision makers are on holiday for 6 months. That was kind of crazy. Kind of insane. They were hoping they'd just shut up, but obviously he's not gonna.
Months is how long it took them to reply. And the thing about having your entire project's existence be based off of the decision of a CEO that is on vacation is that you can't really justify investing into development or marketing when it could all go to shit if they...
I once again, I just feel like you would redirect your approach there. I think I get what he's saying completely. Fucking sucks. But I feel like you wouldn't just... Obviously, you're not going to spend the money because you're like, this could go to shit. I think it would make most logical sense to just think of a workaround or something. I don't know.
They don't change their minds. We were essentially told that even though the decision is not final, guns are okay for now, which is a different way of saying, but we will be changing our minds later. We just can't afford any more bad press right now because this entire thing has hit the news.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. It's just like, it's not officially legally written in. Like, say with EULA, you are meant to, and I think this is something he gets into, you set Santa on fire? Oh no, that's not good. That's not awesome. Yeah, he's upset, and I think that's why he's presenting it in this way. It's like, I think he does get into the EULA change thing, and you are meant to notify when you change an EULA. And I think that, that could easily be, that's like, it's not right now, but, that it's gonna change, is kind of a way, that I feel like that's almost, if anything, I don't think that's like, wow, you're evil, Minecraft, you're saying it's not now, so you're gonna change it, and then I'm gonna be fucked. I feel like he's read that more aggressively than it's meant to come across. I feel like that was almost like a, hey, it's not now, but it's kind of hinting to him that, hey, maybe don't spend all this money on this because we're going to end up changing this, It's telling him without announcing it. I don't think it's necessarily because they need to, avoid bad press. I think that's, I think that's copium and wanting to dunk on them for, controversy. The controversy being that, Mojang are lazy. Yeah, I feel like that's almost meant to, and I could be completely wrong, but that came across to me as like a nice way to be like, hey, don't,
got millions of people to be mad at us for being assholes. And while that could have been the end of it, while these assholes spent half a year replying, I was investigating whether this entire fiasco could have been illegal. And oh boy, this entire fiasco started because a new directive reinterpreted adult content in the end user license agreement, in other words, EULA, to include guns and firearms and hence prohibit them. These clauses that are written in the EULA are more commonly known as a terms of service. This is what's called a click wrap agreement. It's the thing that forces you to check it before signing up for a service. It's essentially a set of rules that you have to follow when using the service.
This is
true. The thing you have to understand is that this is a type of legally binding agreement or otherwise contract. And unlike some third world countries like the United States, where companies can get away with writing anything into the contract like, you can't sue us because we said so, Mojang is in Sweden, and Sweden is in Europe, and in Europe we are supposed to have competent governments that have things like consumer protection laws and contract law. Note how I said supposed to. This is important for later. In Mojang,
I don't think you have to say it. I think it's obvious. Yes. Mojang is a Swedish company. But correct me once again if I'm wrong, pretty certain, they are owned by Microsoft, pretty certain that, would wrap them under American law, right? And that's why it's written in that way, because, maybe it's a little cheeky. Granted, it's a little cheeky, but they can do that. I wouldn't say it's illegal, I doubt. But once again, not a lawyer, maybe it is. Completely my opinion and guess.
Mojang's first email, they say that under the new directive, guns and firearms are not compliant. They follow it up saying that these activities are specifically prohibited by the Mojang brand guidelines, guidelines that literally do not exist, but which...
That's not true. That's very not true, because I've, done a lot of... that is just not very true at all. I can show you exactly how to find them, and they're very easy to find. EULA Minecraft, right? End user license agreement. Maybe his research started. Maybe his research started before this. I don't know, and maybe they added it. But this has been here for a long time. You have the Minecraft usage guidelines. Once it fucking loads. And they mention how you have all these, you have all these usage guidelines. We love that our players and fans do cool things to share with the community. Our goal is to create an environment where... Oh, yeah, this is on... Oh, wait, no, it's not. I thought this said Microsoft. I'm blind. We want to realize that you want to create things, blah, blah, blah. So we wrote these guidelines. In here, the important Minecraft... why? How am I fucking reading this? There is a section, and I am skim reading, but I have read this before. There you go, commercial use. We are less relaxed about when using our name, brand, and assets for commercial use. While we do love that you want to share your creations with the community and understand that you may want to charge others, we do have limits on what we regard as acceptable for commercial use of Minecraft. In these guidelines, commercial use means any use of our name, brand, our assets you use to share with others, regardless if you receive payment or provide it for free. This can be through videos or streams you create, merchandise, or even servers you host. We may change this definition as... I think he goes into this, like, we may change this definition part. But, yeah, you have, everything in the usage guidelines for the things that you're able to do and stuff. I don't think it was hard to find, and that is definitely... the brand guidelines are just in the usage guidelines.
The new directive, guns and firearms are not compliant. They follow it up saying that these activities...
Dude, I just realized... I thought for a second he was reading off a fucking Nintendo DS until I realized it was a fucking, Samsung flip phone.
Specifically prohibited by the Mojang brand guidelines, guidelines that literally do not exist, but which they cite multiple times anyways, the commercial guidelines, and the EULA. Now, let's go ahead and look at the actual...
Commercial guidelines are brand ones, I would say. Maybe I'm getting confused.
It hasn't been updated at all since April of 2020, which is over 3 years ago. And these specific prohibitions...
I've never seen it say that part, but...
...are nowhere to be found. It's almost as if they pulled it out.
Wait, hold on. Go back again?
prohibitions, actual guidelines, and the EULA. Now, let's go ahead and look at the actual contract for these specific prohibitions. And oh, would you look at that? It hasn't been updated at all since April of...
But he said that they... Did he not say that you can't find them? Didn't he say they were fucking nowhere and suddenly... Oh, here they are, by the way. Oh, no, he said the brand guidelines. I felt like brand guidelines is the same thing as commercial use guidelines, right?
2020, which is
I'd assume that's the same thing.
And these
maybe I'm completely wrong once again.
That they mentioned are nowhere to be
but
found.
I'd assume that's the same thing, no?
Almost.
Oh, but they did mention both, though, didn't they? So
out of their ass. Remember how I mentioned that it's not like Mojang hides information from the public for illicit reasons, right? Well, it turns out that this new directive that prohibits guns, which Mojang enforces as if it was part of the EULA, isn't actually on the EULA. So this information is hidden, only known to Mojang, and not written anywhere. And since it can't be found anywhere and is literally pulled out of their ass, they can change it as many times as they want.
That was weird for them to say specifically guns and it doesn't. But once again, I feel like I remember reading this at one point and seeing it specifically mention guns. I don't know why. I think probably the best case scenario is before pouring money into this, you probably... Because you know that it's like the adult content, you are kind of taking that risk. Although this is going to be updated, so I don't know, but I feel like I remembered it. I feel like the best case scenario, if you're going to put money into it, is you should probably contact Mojang and just say, before you start, you should clarify, hey, is this all good? This all good with you? But bye. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's also fair that he just did it, and it sucks for him.
Which they have. 3 times. Now, you might be asking what the problem is, since at the end they did tell us what we need to do to comply. And you see, Sweden and Europe, which Sweden is a part of, have these things called consumer protection laws.
Once again, I feel like it's going to be another situation of Mojang is owned by Microsoft, and they don't have to apply to consumer protection, I guess. I don't know.
Contract law.
Well, no, not completely, but like, it's, you get what I'm saying, right?
Written. And by looking just a little bit in Europe's website, you can see that contracts must be fair, transparent, and cannot have unfair terms. Like, for example, a get-out clause such as all permissions and consents may be revoked at any time if we think that it is appropriate to do so, or we don't like what you are...
I mean, I guess that's kind of a get-out clause. But... Does that count as a get-out clause? I don't know what definitely what a get-out clause is. To me, if I was to, like, my understanding of what I thought a get-out clause was just, like, saying, like, by the way, you can't sue us. That's a get-out clause, that's what I thought was a get-out clause. But, he's probably right, if he's done all this research. He's probably right that, that counts as a get-out clause. But I just always assume, but, I'm probably wrong there.
Doing. If that doesn't sound like a get-out clause, hidden terms,
I mean,
one-sided changes to a
it does a
contract.
bit. It does a bit. One-sided changes. That's one-sided changes is completely fair, but I don't think. What does EULA stand for again? Is it technically a contract? Because it's more an agreement. Is EULA a contract? Most widely used term to describe this kind of contract between a okay, yeah. Barely any EULA is enforceable because companies have duty to make them easy to understand. That's a good point. This is just on Reddit. The enforceability of an end user, an EULA is a contracts question. Any first-year contracts course at a reputable law school would teach 1Ls that there is a general duty to read on part of consumers, and that a contract is not unenforceable because the consumer did not read or understand the terms present. While respecting EULAs, there is quite... Okay, so it does seem like it's not really an enforceable thing based off Reddit. I do think, it is a little fucking cheeky for a company to be like, by the way, if we want to, we will change this. and you should just check back regularly. I do think that's a bit cheeky. I don't think I've ever seen an email from Minecraft saying we've updated our EULA, but I have for other games. So, yeah.
To a product or service, one-sided interpretation of the contract. Doesn't that sound familiar? And after contacting the European Union's legal advisors, I was told that misleading emissions, basically hiding information, is a form of unfair commercial practice where Mojang fails to give information to the consumer.
I wouldn't say it was hiding of information. I'd say it was more vagueness. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's technically whereby a trader fails to give material information to the consumer, i.e. information that average consumer needs to make more informed economic decision. I feel like it could be assumed, though. I don't know. I feel like it could be assumed that guns are considered adult content, the same way that gambling can be considered adult content. You know? I don't know.
Consumer, and that all relevant information needs to be present, and that it's also misleading emission if Mojang provides the consumer with information but does so in an unclear, unintelligible, or ambiguous, loosely worded.
Oh, okay, ambiguous, ambiguous manner. That's fair. That's fair. But is that for specific signed contracts, less EULA? I don't know if EULA would have different laws because it's so widely used for so many use cases, and it's not like hey, we're signing you to work with us. Let's sign a contract. We're viewing it through his lens, so it sound more malicious than it might be. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe ambiguous. That to be fair, it is ambiguous. But I feel like there's some things like adult content where it's fair to be ambiguous in a way. Because adult content can mean so many things. If an EULA is meant to be readable and understandable by anyone without a lawyer, then I feel like ambiguity when it comes to something like adult content, that it shouldn't just be like, you can't do this and 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 every single thing that could be considered adult content. I feel like you could... Adult content. Types of adult content: nudity, pornography, sexual entertainment. I'm just gonna skip over all the sexual stuff. Everything that's coming up is okay. Here, what is adult content other than porn? Awesome. Adult content is anything that is deemed only suitable for adults. It can literally be anything. It's coming up mainly with just like, you know, sexual stuff, but that's, you know, there's other types, and I, like that guy said, I feel like there's so many different types that it would kind of be like, but maybe guns should be clarified, I guess, and maybe that's what they'll update it to be. But
it's almost as if they're not allowed to have hidden clauses.
But I feel like, yeah, I feel like guns are very obvious adult content. When I think adult content, I think sexual themes, I think guns, I think gambling. I can't really think of many more, to be fair, that come straight to mind. We'll react, Andy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if someone wants to say name some things that are adult content, I think guns would come to mind for most people. But maybe the ambiguity, like, you know, it's fair for him to be annoyed, you know?
All the time and resources I put into my project have essentially gone to shit. So now that we've covered that Mojang hiding shit from the public in a contract is illegal under European consumer protection laws, on top of things like the contract preferential doctrine, you know, which basically
American
says that
company
if something is loosely worded, I'm the one that gets to choose how to interpret it. But Kian...
Oh, interesting. Okay. The contract is a legal doctrine in contract law that dictates how ambiguous clauses in a contract should be interpreted. The rule stipulates that a clause in a contract is ambiguous or can be interpreted in multiple ways. It should be read in a way that disfavors the party who originally drafted it. Interesting. Didn't know that. Once again, that is EU law, though. I think if Mojang operates within the EU, then EU laws applies to them regardless. Really? Okay. That would make sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, it's adult content, really. I guess if that rule is a rule, he can be like, hey, I thought that just meant sexual content. You know? I think with Apple, it was more that they would have to change just their... Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess that would probably mean that they would have to still fall for it. But I think it was the EU specific... It wasn't Apple got sued. It was like the EU said, hey, you got to do this. That's your rule. It's more specific. It's not like they were sued, you know?
Says that if something is loosely worded, I'm the one that gets to choose how to interpret it. But Kian, why go through all this trouble? This is probably just a mistake by Mojang, a one-off thing.
I wouldn't say that.
Mojang does a ton more illegal shit, right?
Oh boy, yes they do.
Now, when all of this started, I never wanted this to be a lawsuit. I simply expected Mojang to not be assholes and be reasonable. And the way I tried to do this was by collecting...
I mean, I don't think they were necessarily assholes. They kind of just said, hey, you know, no, this is the rules. I don't think that's an asshole move. I'd say that's just like, you know, we'll react to this video of Minecraft being sued.
All of this information and sending it to media outlets and news sources, knowing that it would create a ton of backlash that Mojang simply couldn't ignore.
That's fucking insane. Dude, that's just like, I don't feel like that feels more like just marketing, right? Hey, let's show them my personal story with my server that I invested my money into and send it to every fucking Twitter news account and and YouTuber.
And be reasonable. And the way I tried to do this was by collecting all of this information and sending it to media outlets and news sources, knowing that it would create a ton of backlash that Mojang simply couldn't ignore.
That's kind of crazy. That feels like marketing.
Is set to release
according to their new guidelines.
Mojang no longer being the kind company.
It didn't work. Even though the information got millions of views, Mojang just played the good old do nothing and the problem will just go away. But now I am here, you pieces of shit. But then, while we were waiting 6 months for the key figures to stop being on vacation, on the 2nd of August 2023, Mojang did the worst thing they've ever done. They updated the EULA that had been unchanged since 2020.
That's the worst thing they've ever done? What?
And tried to hide the fact that they had changed it by not telling anyone about it and releasing it at the same time as a major game update.
I wouldn't say that... I mean, I could be completely wrong. I wouldn't guess that were... I mean, that's not a... Hold on. Wandering traders lowered prices, more trades, and will now buy basic items. Librarians offer specific enchanted books based on biome of origin. That's not a major update. I was about to say, I don't think that necessarily is like a timing where it's like, I feel like they would have just updated it and it's not like, hey, we're going to do this to cover that we've updated it. That would be, that's crazy, like, conspiracy theory. That's tinfoil hat. But that's not a major update. By any means, this is not a major update. This is a very minor tweak. This was talked about, in fairness, this was talked about a lot, but I wouldn't say that, you know, is a major update. Major update! We changed Wandering Trader trades and Librarian trades a little bit. That's a huge reach.
Snapshot content, really cool. EULA changes, very important. Which one gets announced on Twitter? The snapshot. Is one being...
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. If they didn't tweet... yeah...
used to mask the other,
putting all of their...
I don't know. Did it happen on the same day? Maybe. But, I don't know. It could have been timed. But you know, it seems too insignificant. It seems too calculated to, like, you know, I don't know.
Efforts into marketing the game update so people wouldn't notice the EULA update. They never notified anybody about it. Now, under
that is kind of crazy.
Protection laws, when a company changes its terms of service, it is required to notify its users about said changes before they take effect. Which is the reason you get all of these annoying emails that say, hey, we've changed our terms of service. Mojang tried covering it up. But not only did Mojang not notify
that's kind of
anybody of
crazy.
these changes on top of covering it up, but they also added that
these guidelines may change as time goes by. We reserve the right to change our minds at any time. So don't count on these guidelines always being here. It is up to you to check back to see if these guidelines have changed.
And
that sucks. To be fair, that sucks. They shouldn't just be able to, like, they should have to email you. They should have to email you and be like, hey, we've updated our thingy. I think that's wrong. And it's probably, you know, I doubt Minecraft are just doing this if it was illegal. You know, they've got a fuck ton of lawyers. This is probably legal. Does it suck? Yes, and they shouldn't do this, and they should email you. That sucks. That clause fucking sucks, and I don't like that, and that shouldn't be a thing. And if they ever update an EULA of any sorts, they should email everyone.
To you to check back. To see
completely agree with him here. That sucks.
And you bet I wasn't gonna let them get away with hiding that. After analyzing the contract and putting all the shitty parts together, I sent the information forward to basically everyone. And oh boy.
Mojang updated its UI.
Minecraft has gone
That's
from
crazy.
1984.
That's crazy.
Have been ignored.
Breaking law.
He emailed people that didn't even make, like, English content. That's kind of crazy.
Single term
Released on the same
to
day.
enforce it however they want.
That's crazy.
Now, to say that this blew up in their face would be a little bit of an understatement. It got so bad that
A handful of creators were reached out to by Mojang and given a heads up. Attached were answers and guidance to clear up the confusion.
that's right.
That's kind of crazy, to be fair. Why did they not just send that to everyone? You know? Why was that not just a thing they sent to everyone? Just to specific creators? That's weird. That seems like, you know, trying to cover things and, like, make things not obvious.
Select figures were grouped up by Mojang and given information that wasn't publicly available
Yeah, that's
to try and
bad.
calm it down a bit. Information that should be present in the contract by law. And just when you thought it couldn't get
Very
any worse, they
fast.
forced every single one of these members to sign a non-disclosure agreement that forbids them from giving out any
That's crazy. NDA to see contract information? That is kind of crazy. That is kind of insane.
information that they were told for a contract that
That
should
seems very, like, not legal. Yeah, fair.
publicly available. I bet they didn't think I'd find out, but I know lots of things.
Lots of things.
So now that we've covered that they hide changes from the contract, force select people to sign non-disclosure agreements for changes that should be publicly available on the contract, refuse to notify about these
Isn't there, like, a thing where, like, if you know someone's breaking an NDA, don't you, like, legally have to, like, snitch or some shit? I feel like those NDAs probably wouldn't hold up in court. Oh, yeah, I imagine, yeah. They wouldn't hold up in court, but, like, it's the fact that they made them sign them. You know? Probably most NDAs wouldn't stand up in court, and it's with the purpose of, like, you know, scaring people, and it sucks. But, I don't know, it probably doesn't apply to NDAs. I don't know, though.
changes and try to cover it up. It can't possibly get any worse, right?
It got worse.
In the end-user license agreement, they specifically state twice that any form of gambling, violence, terrorism, or other unsafe and mature content is strictly forbidden. Which totally makes sense, but what if I told you that the gambling part was a lie? You see, in Minecraft, when you look at any of the biggest servers, you'll quickly notice a recurring pattern in their shops. They have
this is something that I wish they did, actually. I've made a video on this, and I agree. Them not enforcing gambling, I don't get it at all, and they should be enforcing it. I don't know why they don't enforce shit more often. Yeah, this is an pay-to-win servers and, like, keys. I'm assuming the way that they probably get away with it is loot boxes, because they can say it's not gambling, maybe, somehow, because it's such a thing. I feel like there's probably a specific legal reason why that doesn't count as gambling. They have no incentive to enforce it. Yeah, I guess. I guess they would enforce it if it got to a really big scale, but it's probably not financially viable to, like, go after every small thing. But I know Hypixel specifically got rid of any pay-to-win when the EULA updated to including gambling, but that was a long time ago.
Called crates and crate keys. These keys are used to play
Yeah,
lottery.
that's true. That's true. I completely agree with them with this, but at the same time, it kind of just seems like a gotcha. Oh, you don't allow guns, but why do you allow gambling? You know? But I feel like Minecraft would probably be able to get away with it easily, right? Well, they'd just be able to, like, oh, well, we didn't see that. Right? I, once again, don't know the legalities on it at all, but if Minecraft just said, oh, we hadn't seen that, thanks for notifying us, they'd probably chill, right?
inside of the game that have a chance to give you extremely overpowered items or more money than anyone else. Almost like a casino with extremely similar tactics that are made to get you addicted and turn a profit.
I agree, it sucks.
Speaking, under Mojang's own rules, this should be completely forbidden as it's clearly gambling even by Sweden's own definitions.
I agree, but I think it's also silly to expect them to be able to, like, you know, catch fucking everything. Because that would cost a lot of money and, you know... I mean, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. But, you know, realistically, they're never going to find everything, right? And I'm sure they've taken... Well, they probably have. I know that, like, with, like, other servers have changed things. They might not have got official letters, but, like, you know...
But it turns out that there's a separate list
of hidden terms, just like... It seems like he's just salty that he got enforced. I mean, he didn't get enforced. He was told that in the future that will be against the EULA. He never actually got enforced against. Didn't think of that. He never actually did get enforced against. Some other server did. But he didn't. And granted, that means that he shouldn't carry on, but he's just... It seems like he's salty that, you know... There have been crate servers that have probably been enforced against. You know...
like in the gun case, that allows gambling to take place, which has led to thousands of children getting gambling addictions. I spoke to them.
This is
true. I was around 8 years old when I first started gambling on Minecraft servers at 14.
Sorry, it's kind of funny to laugh at. Children gambling in Minecraft.
It was about feeling cool and getting strong. Give me a chance to win an item that you just couldn't when I'd win, everybody gave me attention. It was like this rush took over every time I opened.
I know this is meant to be like a sad, like, oh damn, a lot of kids got gambling addictions from this. It's kind of funny.
On top of the
it's true though. It fucking sucks.
And I just
Minecraft gambling and crates. I hate pay to win. It sucks.
Always left me wanting more. It just went downhill from there. I got my dad's credit card and spent any pocket money I'd had. I stole my mom's credit card to buy. I lost everything. Thinking back, I hated me feeling sad and couldn't break the cycle. Plunged me into a deep depression.
It's terrible. And they do this as a Swedish company where
they need that prop full diamond gear.
And gambling institutions have some of the strictest laws in the world related to gambling that completely bar it.
Yeah, but the thing is Minecraft aren't doing it. Minecraft aren't providing gambling for kids. It's a third party that, you know, they can't monitor every single third party. That's fucking bonkers to assume that they can, you know, moderate every single Minecraft server in existence. It isn't their legal requirement, I'm assuming, to, you know, like, act on that. They should. I don't feel like it. I think it's kind of insane to assume that they can keep up on all of that.
For anyone below 18 years old from playing, even going as far as to requiring bank ID authentication to play a scratch-off ticket. And Mojang just allows it. So now that I've shown you some of the illegal shit,
I don't think they necessarily allow it. I just think they don't see all of it.
How they're currently
There's probably more that they can see, but like, I feel like an enforcement of something like that, they have to be really careful that they see it black and white. So they don't, you know, get the legal backlash from that and, like, they fuck up, you know? I feel like it's more than just sending a cease and desist. Like, yep, this looks like gambling. Let's send a cease and desist, you know?
Developers onto their own marketplace so they can charge extremely exorbitant fees for no reason while blocking off any onto their shit that Mojang has done. And trust me, there's so much more, like how they're currently forcing developers onto their own marketplace so they can charge extremely exorbitant fees for...
What? They're forcing developers onto Minecraft Marketplace? Huh? You can't just drop that. What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean? With Bedrock specifically? That there aren't mods on Bedrock and the way that people make money is by signing up for Minecraft Marketplace? That's not forcing them to join at gunpoint.
For no reason, while blocking off any kind of competition. As if
yeah,
that
that's
doesn't
true.
Sound like some company that has recently been hit by billions in fines from Europe.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. To say that, you know, Epic Games suing Apple to want their own app store on thingy under like EU law is not the same as Minecraft mod developers saying we want to be able to upload to thingy. It's very different, I think. I don't know. I think it's something Minecraft offers. It's not something that they force, you know?
Has recently been hit by billions in fines from Europe. It's time to move on to the lawsuit. Since Mojang has shown that they really don't give a shit about the law, a lawsuit is really the only way to get them to realize that your actions have consequences.
I guess.
How do you actually sue a billion-dollar corporation?
Yeah.
Or an even bigger trillion-dollar corporation?
So he has, you know, acknowledged that they're owned by Microsoft, but hasn't mentioned, you know, do they fall for... Maybe he doesn't.
It's quite easy, actually. All you need to do is hire a lawyers are extremely expensive. So when you're legally broke to the point of having to live in an underground basement filled...
Oh, I just unplugged my monitor by yanking my lead accidentally. Dude, hold on. We need to talk about this. Let's go back.
Are extremely expensive. So when you're legally broke to the point of having to live in an underground basement filled with radioactive gas, that's unfortunately not a joke. How are you...
Why? Why are you... Oh my fuck. Oh, let's go one more time.
Hire lawyers are extremely expensive. So when you're legally broke to the point of having to live in an underground basement filled with radioactive gas, that's unfortunately not a joke. How are you supposed... are considered non-compliant features under the adult content requirement for commercial usage servers, and that they now have to be completely removed because they're against the brand guidelines, usage guidelines, and end-user license agreement. So basically, after months of development and thousands of dollars spent on marketing, yes, this thing costs $1,000, everything...
A month?
Expensive. So when you're legally broke to the point of having to live in an underground basement filled with radioactive gas, that's unfortunately not a joke. How are you...
Why the flying fuck? If you're that broke and have to live under a basement with radioactive gas, are you spending $1,000 a month for a little yellow tick mark on Twitter.com? If you can't afford to live somewhere else and survive in a non-radioactive basement, why the flying fuck are you putting $1,000 a month alone into a tick mark for Twitter? You want to know how you can afford that lawyer? Not pay $1,000 a month. How are you suing them?
You're supposed to finance justice. Remember when I said, here in Europe, we are supposed to have competent governments? This is where that becomes important. When someone in the European Union has
you get a
rights
free lawyer
guaranteed by the Charter of Human Rights, like for example Article 38, consumer protection, if that person does not have enough money to seek out justice, according to Article 47, you should have the right to an effective remedy before a tribunal and a fair and public hearing where everyone shall have the possibility of being advised, defended, and represented.
Okay.
In other words, even if you're broke, according to the Charter of Human Rights, you are entitled to seek out justice.
So what was the point of mentioning how much lawyers costs then? Because that's not...
expensive. So when you're legally broke to the point of having to live in an underground basement filled with radioactive gas, that's unfortunately not a joke. How are you supposed to finance justice? Remember this, according to Article 47, you should have the right to an effective remedy before a tribunal and a fair and public hearing where everyone shall have the possibility...
What was the point of mentioning that you're broke? If you just follow it up with, well, actually, I can get a lawyer for free. What?
To seek out justice. Every country in Europe needs to...
There's going to be a twist. There's probably going to be a twist, right? Like, oh, they're shit lawyers, though.
And Sweden's way of doing this is through Rättshjälpsmyndigheten, the legal aid institution, which, according to their own website, provides remuneration of legal aid for up to 100 hours of work unless otherwise determined by the court. And after contacting hundreds of lawyers, I was told information that is hidden from the institution's website.
Oh?
First one is that when a lawyer has to work with a client that has legal aid, they are forced to reduce their hourly rate to a rättshjälpstaxa, which is often less than 40% of what they usually
so it's hard to actually find a lawyer, okay.
charge an hour. This basically means that the overwhelming majority of lawyers I contacted simply refused to take the case, and that the ones that were willing to do so were extremely inexperienced. And that's not exactly a fair and effective remedy, is it? And the second biggest problem is that this case is so complex that it would way overshoot the 100 hours that were mentioned on the website. But wait a minute, doesn't it also say unless otherwise determined by a court? It turns out that after talking...
I mean, it's better than nothing, right? I feel like a lawyer can be unexperienced, but they're still going to be fully qualified. I doubt you can be that bad, right? Right?
To employees that work at the legal aid institution.
That is true. They are going to have significantly better lawyers than him, but they're always going to have significantly better lawyers than him. You know?
On top of them having a ton of spelling mistakes and writing like cavemen, like seriously, how do you write like this and are employed at the government? They admitted that the 100-hour limit is basically fixed, and anything beyond that is just a few hours, and it's just to end the case. Meaning that, in other words, I have to either choose between getting 100 hours of help and then going bankrupt, or represent myself alone in court against a billion-dollar corporation.
Dude, my mind's going back to it. I don't know how you can be that broke if you're spending $1,000 a month for a Twitter Blue subscription. Like, I just can't compute. There's no way that you thought it was a good decision to spend $1,000 a month for a check mark on Twitter and a little bit more push to get 1,300 followers if you're criminally broke. You've got to have some money. You've got the DJI left mics. Maybe I sound like a dickhead that's like, well, you know, if you're that broke, stop your Netflix subscription. That's a fucking £300 set of mics. Like,
Not exactly fair, is it? So at this point, the government institution that was supposed to uphold Article 47 had failed to do so. I then went to these two institutions that are supposed to oversee that other government institutions do their job properly. But unfortunately, they said, we don't care, it's not important enough. I wish I was joking. I really do.
Crazy.
Next up, we have Sweden's Consumer Protection Agency, Konsumentverket, which is supposed to represent you if you are unable to do so yourself, and the case is determined to be of importance enough to consumers. To which they replied that representation in this case cannot be expected to lead to an outcome that is of importance to law enforcement. In other words, they don't give a shit. Next up, we have the Swedish National Board of Consumer Complaints, ARN, that said that apparently when I entered this agreement with Mojang when I was 12 years old, I did not do so acting as a consumer, meaning that I must have been a really young 12-year-old corporate entity to enter this contract with Mojang at 12 years old.
But is that not legal advice that they're giving him? That kind of just sounds like legal advice, and they're like, yeah, you're not winning, pal. GG's. You got fucked. It sucks, but you gotta just deal with it. No. He pays 1,000 as well.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, okay, this sucks. It seems illegal, but I can't really do anything about it. So it's not illegal, then. They've told him that it's not illegal, right?
Every single government institution in Sweden that was supposed to uphold the justice has failed to do so.
Well, it doesn't seem like that. It seems like some of them, yeah, there's like, they kind of like, the wording's bad. Repeated theme here. But it seems like they're not telling him, like, we're failing you. It's more like they're saying, hey, you know, this isn't going to happen. You're not going to get away with that.
Article 47 of the Charter of Human Rights has been violated by the entire country of Sweden. Mojang will keep getting away with this because they know full well that nobody that is affected by their decisions has the means to sue them in court. I'm sorry. I really tried.
This didn't end how I thought it would end. And while I really want to give up because, like, at this point, I've tried everything, there's just nothing more that I can do, my friends convinced me to try one last thing. Because this isn't about me anymore. It's about all of us, all of you. If Mojang gets away with this, they're setting the precedent and they can do whatever they want, and we have no rights whatsoever. So I'm opening a crowdfunding campaign for legal fees.
Whoa, chat. Did you see the chapter name? The chapter's called It's Up to You Now. That's fucking crazy.
So that maybe, just maybe, we're able to hold Mojang accountable for everything they've done as a community, because if we don't fight, no.
I mean, I guess it's technically as a community, but it's not because it's a community. It's because you want to win your specific use case. You're not fighting for the entire EULA to be like, hey, let's do like a class action where it's like, you know, we're going to make sure everything that's wrong with this EULA is corrected. You want your specific use case corrected so you can make your Minecraft server. And you're saying, hey, you guys need to help if you guys want things to be right. Fucking crazy. How much has been donated to the GoFundMe? Fuck me. Dude, I don't know, but that seems like a lot of fucking money. They hit the target. How much is that? Chat. How much is that in GBP? 100 grand. $100,000. $100,000. I doubt it's that popular, to be honest. I'm assuming he's gained a lot of fucking traction because this video got 3 million views. Has he uploaded any other videos? Because he has hit the target. No. Interesting.
Minecraft, a game full of beautiful scenery where you mine for resources, build what you want, and have fun with friends. I'm gonna add guns to the game. So right now, the only way to
It'd be interesting to see if he mentions anything in the EULA about this and it maybe not being allowed, because surely if he did, that invalidates everything he said.
With melee weapons like swords, using bows that shoot arrows, and throwing potions that deal a bit of damage. That's just not violent enough. So how exactly am I going to...
I feel like that seals the coffin. Right? I feel like that seals the coffin. That's just not violent enough. Sounds potential adult content. Right?
And throwing potions that deal a bit of damage. That's just not violent enough. So how exactly am I going to add the guns? Here's the plan. First, I'll take an item that already exists in the game, like a stick. Then when I right-click while holding the stick, it will shoot out a snowball. But wait, that doesn't look like a gun at all. Well, no shit, Sherlock. So once that's done, I'll change the textures of the stick and the snowball so that it looks like a gun and a bullet. And bam, now I have a gun in Minecraft. So now all I have to do is make it. I've never actually made any code for Minecraft before, but I mean, it can't be that hard, right? I was wrong. In
yeah,
Minecraft,
I've heard that.
Everything is an action. For example, right-clicking this bow is an action. Breaking a block is an action. Placing a block is an action. So all I have to
Minecraft has always said that they're going to never add guns. And I feel like that could maybe be suggestive, but I guess it's not easy accessible and you wouldn't think. Will Minecraft ever add guns? I know they have officially said that they would never add guns, but I can't find it. So if I can't find it easy, you know, it's not obvious.
Is spawn in a snowball when I right-click the stick. Alright, so I made a few changes, and now if I right-click, it should spawn in a snowball. Hello, me from definitely not 2 days in the future. I finally figured out how to make the stick shoot a snowball, and it shoots it perfectly accurately, so it works. But that's not very realistic, since real guns have something called spread, which basically means that every single
That's
shot
cool that he's
shoots
adding spread.
slightly
That's actually
differently than
cool.
the last. And I mean, it also...
I think they don't want to risk some regulators making it a higher age rating. Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't. But you know, yeah, it's fair.
Shoots it from the head, but I don't think that's a problem. I mean, it looks fine like this. Oh, I think I found an issue. But I mean, that shouldn't be hard to fix. So an entire month has passed, mostly due to me being lazy. But I fixed the issue with the snowball spawning on the head all the time and also added spread. So now each shot shoots slightly differently than the last. I added a scope mode so that when left clicking while holding the stick, it zooms in, because that is the best I could do. So with this, I'd say that the basic functionality for the gun is basically complete. So now it's time to add the textures to make it look like an actual gun. So I'll just it is our textures. So now I've got a bunch of different weapons in the game.
That's crazy. I'm assuming for his server he would have made his own textures.
So now I've got a bunch of different weapons in the game, but they all do the same thing, one shot per click, even for weapons like shotguns, which are
I doubt he'd mention in this about it, you know.
To shoot multiple shots at the same time. So I created a database to make the code able to build up the database with gun. Okay, sorry, I'll stop. But look, guns like the shotgun will work properly and shoot multiple bullets at the same time.
This is very cool, but it, you know,
just as the Americans intended.
No, hold up.
It is very cool.
But you've probably
That's crazy.
The problem. The guns don't sound like anything. It's not really fun shooting something that doesn't sound violent. So it turns out that making a sound system was actually a lot harder than I anticipated. So I instead just reverse engineered an old gun plugin because it is our plugin. And yeah, now the guns have sounds. All me, 100%. I'm pretty satisfied with how the guns are so far. So I took a video and shared it to get some feedback.
5 minutes later.
Good progress, dude, but your guns are still kind of garbage when compared to gun colonies. Hey, what is this gun colony? It
it's
can't
just
be
another
that much better than what I did. What the fuck? Yeah, I can do that.
See, to be fair, you know, you'd see that in a thing and you'd be like, okay.
The main difference between my and Gun Colony's method is that Gun Colony uses a laser, while I use actual projectiles. And I don't like the laser method, since I like having bullets go. But what I really liked is their particle system, like how the bullet breaks the wall on impact with a bunch of particles, and how there's blood when shooting people. This is getting demonetized, isn't it? So
would I be coping in saying that that's realizing that it's against adult, like, if a gun, I guess it's specifically the blood, but the gun making someone bleed and acknowledging that that's going to demonetize your video and you'd be demonetized for adult content? Maybe the raid. Yeah.
I kept my projectile-based system as it is and added small particle explosions on block collisions and blood when hitting a living entity. Mission accomplished. I now have fully functional guns in Minecraft. So what if I turn all of this into a server that hundreds of people can play on?
I'm sure it's not continued how he wanted to continue it. I feel bad, and it sucks that, you know, the outcome after spending so much time and money on it. But seeming like he developed everything himself, it seems like there wouldn't have been astronomical amounts of money except for the $1,000 a month. The $1,000 a month. You know? The Discord, I wonder if the Discord's still up. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that video. Like, what he's saying is fair. Hi, first time chatters. Yeah. What he's saying is fair, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I think of a lot of it is probably just, you know, anger, which makes sense, but a lot of it seems just off. You know, a lot of it just seems off. And the thing is it sucks because no one will say it. Like, if you say it, some people will be like, you're a Mojang show. That's what it is. You just support huge companies. But yeah, I don't think it necessarily, I'm sure it's gained a lot of followers from that video. But I don't think that necessarily means that, you know, does he have the Twitter public still? How many did it have in the video? It had like 1,300. That's a completely separate thing though, dude. You shouldn't have spent that. It had, hold on. You shouldn't have spent that much. You should not have spent that much, dude. That was a silly decision. 1,800. But was he already like a YouTuber before this? Like, I don't know. I felt like, you know, it wouldn't have cost that much. It would have, you know, the time still set. The time sunk in sucks. MC War. I'm curious how much is gained. Do you reckon he has the check mark still? No, he doesn't. I mean, he gained a few hundred followers. It's just funny seeing like the video's done. Oh, Moist Critical. Can you react to it, by the way? Let me mute this because it's probably copyright music. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's cool, but like, I don't feel like it's completely... Yo, thank you for the raid! We're catching fucking every raid today. Welcome in, guys. We just reacted to that Minecraft Guns video about the guy suing Mojang. Wait, so if the IP address... I mean, I guess people could add it.
On Minecraft's best gun server. This is how you get ahead on Minecraft's best gun server, MC War. When you log in, make sure to pick a shotgun as your primary weapon so you can sneak around the corner and shoot whoever tries to come close to you to get insane amounts of kills and coins every single game. Here's the IP to join. This is how you...
I want to see how many tweets they tweeted. What'd you guys get up to, though? We've been kind of just doing whatever felt right. I mean, it's not a huge server. I guess the server cost will be a thing. But, like, I doubt there's that much money sunk into it, except from the Twitter costs. Right? Phasmophobia? Hell yeah. I don't know, chat. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things about the video that are off. That's my opinion. Okay, that's my reaction.